Good morning, everyone. So I'm here speaking to Judith and Paulette from The Healing of Heather Garden. It's a documentary in competition in Nice. Congratulations to the pair of you.
Thank you,
Thank
Steve.
you. Lovely to meet you both.
Thank you.
So if you could both just introduce yourselves, I know I kind of have, and then each tell me your connection to the film, and then if one of you, perhaps Paulette, could give us a synopsis of the film, that would be a short synopsis. So you first, Judith.
Well, I'm Judith Morrow. I'm the independent filmmaker, which means director, producer, camera person, script writer for the film. And my connection to the film?
Well, that's it. You've done it.
That's it. Okay, yeah.
And the same for you, please, Paulette.
I'm Paulette Efamenko, and I am in the film. I am the first healer that Heather visited in her journey on healing.
Thank you very much. And Paulette, if you could tell us what the film is actually about, the brief of it.
It's about this young lady from Canada that was diagnosed with progressive MS and was told she would never walk again. She was in a wheelchair, couldn't hardly feed herself, and decided that she didn't want to live the rest of her life that way, and went on a journey of finding what she could do, finding people that could help her to have a good, healthy life.
Thank you. I know we've spoken about this, Chief, but if you could give us an idea of, or perhaps the questions to both of you really, how you first became connected to the story, and also can you just, for the benefit of the viewers, tell us when this filming journey finished a number of years ago. There's a reason for that, but if you can tell us the timeline and how you came across this subject matter.
Well, I had decided I was going to make a documentary, and I was looking for a good subject. And my best friend is Kim, who's in the movie, who was Heather's really turning point person who helped lead her on a journey towards finding hope. And so Heather was obviously very close to one of my best friends, and became a good friend of mine. We just really got along well together. And I didn't know anything about the particular illness she had at the time I started.
She was quite young then, I think, wasn't she?
When I met her, she had been better for a few years. And she was 27 when she got the first attack of the illness, before it became debilitating for her. So that's how we just really connected. She was just this vibrant woman, both her and her friend Kim. And they were just wonderful people to hang out with, and they loved me hanging out with them. So they invited me to take a room in their healing center they were putting together. And I said, well, what's this center about? And they said, well, we want to put everything in one place so that people can come and not have to travel all over like Heather did to get better. So I said, well, like I was trying to understand what she'd done to get better at the time.
Right.
And so I had this room in this beautiful little retreat center that lasted all of 6 months, because they weren't really business people in setting it up. And I got interested in the story, and I recognized then that this disease really destroyed people's lives. And I saw people with incredible suffering. They were in the paper from the illness, and so it just became like, well, what did she do? You know, and I thought, well, I'll make a documentary and find out. So that was how I started. I thought it was going to be a little easier than it was.
Well, that kind of was my next question. So you jumped in kind of feet first in terms of, yeah, I'm going to do this.
That's right.
And
I just
without thinking of the ramifications, I guess.
Well, thinking, who knew? I had no idea. I just thought, well, you make a documentary, and I see these talking head documentaries where you just interview and you find out the story. And
how difficult can that be?
Well, exactly. So a few years into it, I found just how difficult it can be. So, and I had to go on a journey of healing, so I understood it from the inside. What did she do? She did these things, but what did that have to do with her getting better? And I had to travel to meet all her healers that were on that journey, so that I understood, and I interviewed them, and I got to hear their point of view and how they understood things. And then I had to do a lot of research, and I had to put the story together from what Heather told me, because she was the subject matter. She just done these things and followed guides and had a lot happen to her, and it was a while back. So she didn't document and write it down.
So, sorry, what was the timeline between you becoming involved in it and then the whole journey? I know the journey hasn't finished, but the journey in terms of the film being finished and this being the final version. When did all that actually come to?
Well, there's like 100 final versions, but the final version that actually got copyrighted and put on the film circuit, it took 10 years to get to that point where, from the beginning stage where I was at, the beginning interviews and the early exploration, 100 hours of tape, and then 3 years of editing to get it down to half an hour. So it's not a talking head documentary. It's a very intense and exciting story that doesn't matter what the illness is. People relate to it from all over the world. And the journey into film festivals, which when it came out, I thought, okay, what do I do now? And I found out film festivals is a good starting point. So the film has traveled, and I've traveled with it to all parts of the world.
And when was that? What year? 2010?
It was, my first festival was in 2014.
Right.
Yeah.
But the film had actually...
It had finished, it was in final cut production in the end of 2013.
Right, okay. So Paulette, I'm trying not to put words into your mouth here. I'm guessing you came in when, for want of a better way to describe it, traditional methods of ways for Heather to get better had failed, and then you came in and were part of the first healing program. Well, tell the story, please. I'm so kind of...
Well, I also knew Kim because I am a home birthing midwife. That is my first profession, and I attended one of Kim's births in Canada, and she knew me, and she knew that I was into natural healing, doing different things, and she brought Heather to visit me. That was her first visit with someone to get started somewhere, and I talked with her and shared with her about doing the cleansing. Like, you need to cleanse your body first, because she had done all kinds of drugs and things like that.
So she'd been through the traditional routes. Is that
yes,
what
yes.
Okay.
So I taught her about the cleansing and some of the emotional stuff. Just talked about the whole thing that needed to be done, and started with her on that. And that was the beginning of her finding many different people to help her. But the visit started at my place with me.
And how did you feel when, at some point in time, you approached to say, well, actually, a film's going to be made? How did you feel about being connected? Were you like in it straight away, as in you signed up for it straight away?
I thought it was very interesting. It was like, wow, that's really something. And then I thought, well, it'll just be one of these little films, that kind of people see, and it goes around in a small community and things, and then it's kind of forgotten about and things, and all of a sudden it's like, wow, Judy's taking this to film festival. It was awesome. I was like, I was just so amazed at the great job that she had done on it, and I thought it was just amazing. And so to know that it was going around the world and things, it's just very exciting. I feel very honored to be a part of it, but she has done an amazing job at it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you touched upon it earlier about jumping in feet first, how hard can it be to, but actually, can you give us a flavour of the pain and suffering, if they're the right words, that you went through to get this from an original idea to actually getting finished?
Well,
because you've already said 100 hours, so I kind of know, geez, this is a lot of work, which is typical of a filmmaker.
Yes.
But if you possibly explain
so people can understand.
Which may help or not help them. Because they might go, oh God, I'm not ever going to make a documentary.
Yeah, well, and I think it's like the journey of healing. It's a very parallel story to how Heather got better. You have a flash, there's a vision in your head, and you see something that you want to create. And I knew in my head right from the beginning, I saw Heather as this vibrant person, running and very exciting person, and I knew in a flash that was how I wanted to open the story. I wanted to show her as I saw her, this exciting, dynamic woman, just an ordinary person, but living a little off the grid, a little alternative lifestyle, but a very beautiful lifestyle. And I knew I wanted to open with that, which was really like the end of it. So I think to begin a journey, you have to have a bit of a vision of something that compels you to go toward it. Now, I didn't believe I could ever do that because I loved really great movies and documentaries, and they had something compelling in it for me. I didn't believe at the time I was going to be able to do that, but it was kind of something I was headed towards was that, so there was going to be some learning involved.
And has it changed you as a person? And what I mean by that, not necessarily the filming, well, that could be the filming, and not necessarily her story. It could actually be both.
Yeah.
So has it made a difference to you?
Absolutely, it has. I think in some ways I was a bit like this when I was younger, and then I had a long period of time, you know, the kids, family, job period, and I wasn't traveling, and I was getting a little overweight, and maybe not quite so, like I've entered the world of all these posters here, and it's an ordinary world for me now. And it's an understanding and really believing that if you see it, you can achieve it, because there's something in you that is there, and so there's a seed inside of you. So
because you're a doctor, and you're not
I was actually a master's of social work. Right. I had a bachelor and then a master's. I was a family therapy. I was trained in that, and I was community development. I'd done a lot of community work I was working in a clinic for 20 years when I started. So it opened my eyes to I had always done training in the emotional realm. I didn't believe in diagnostic labels. I believed in the capacity of human beings at the emotional level to heal. I didn't know that was just a parallel journey to what was going on in the medical system, that what I saw in the mental health system, which working with children and seeing a conventional system that doesn't really heal people, but maybe tries quick fixes and drugs sometimes and labels to kind of diagnose a condition of a child that, as a social worker, I knew came from a broad parameters. So that was a very firm foundation in me, and I traveled to Buddhist teachers and just master therapists from around the world that are strategic and solution focused in how they approach people. So it was a surprise to find out that in physical health, it truly is very linked to that approach of understanding the whole person. And so physically, it was good understanding. So I now know as people travel through life's journeys, you're going to get different physical things may happen to you, and I just said, oh, this is another one of those, and then you figure how to get better.
It's kind of the same question to you, Paulette, but with a little bit of a twist. What I mean is, because of what you do as a healer, I suspect that you've seen people with all kinds of ailments, obviously before and after. So me asking that question I may not necessarily get the same answer from you, but in terms of has it changed you, because I guess you've seen lots of different people coming and going. But it'd be interesting to know if being part of that journey, being filmed and going through all of that, which I suspect you've never done before, ending up here, has that all been a bit of a surprise in terms of what you were expecting and actually what actually happened?
Yes, well, like I said, it was, I just thought, well, she's filming and she's going to put it together and it, be like just a little film that goes in a little place. And so to realize that it was at a film festival and lots of film festivals, and then when it came to my opportunity for going, she just posted on Facebook, I'm going to Nice for this film festival, my partner can't go with, and would any friend like to go? And my immediate response was, yes,
pick up the phone.
I did. I just posted immediately without any thought about any of it. Yes, I would love to go. And she just picked up on it, and then it was like a ball that was rolling that just was not going to stop, So,
and now you've met other filmmakers and perhaps have seen other films. And,
yes.
And I'm trying to get to the bottom how you feel about this whole, not journey, but being here, and seeing and being part of this. And speaking to other people and experiencing other things, and in terms of films that you've seen, and how is that kind of what you thought it would be like? Was it better than you thought?
Oh, it's much better than what I thought. Yeah, I had no idea what it would be like, but I knew I was going to be meeting lots of new people, and I love people. So meeting new people is just something that I just love to do. And so she kept telling me, oh, there's just so many wonderful people, and different kinds of people. Like all these films portray different people in different places in their lives and things. So it has been totally amazing. I have been so honored to be here. And one thing that I would like to share that you had asked about with Heather and with every person is that she made a statement in the film that I gave her hope, and I guess that's what the film portrays to me more than anything, is that if you can have hope, then you can find an answer. But you need that hope to know and believe that it can be different. And that's in every area of your life where there are different things going on.
And something we touched on the other day was this could easily have a sequel, couldn't it? As in what happened next, because the filming process finished when? The actual filming process?
2002 she walked again, so it was 2012. It was 10 years, and I believe the last shot you'll see is Heather carrying these trays of food in the large business that they had established by then. And so 2012 was the last shot.
So
and
5 years.
It was completing the color correction and sound correction for the next year, maybe.
Has it crossed your mind? Sorry, I'm putting words to it. Has it crossed your mind to do that? Because
everybody
suppose,
wants that.
Yeah, I suppose we said, oh, what a great story, but what's happened since then?
It's been a lot of film festivals and understanding the whole world of marketing, websiting, the big technical hurdles that go after that when you're not a production company and you don't have this guy doing that and this person doing that, and it's all me learning every little aspect of all of that. So that's been consuming a lot. And as I sit back now, I'm thinking, okay, I've got the footage and I can probably cut and edit. TV takes 22 minutes. This is a half-hour documentary. And I guess there's a call for the sequel, the What's Happening Now.
Have you discussed it with Heather? Because I wonder what it's different. You can't obviously say exactly. What do you think her reaction would be?
When she knows it's inspiring, giving people hope, she wants to give that part of it. As long as I do, she doesn't want to be the treatment person, because the movie's really telling her story. So I think she's okay with it. She doesn't like limelight. She's not the person who's one of those people you've had a film made about. She could have been here. She could have been to Jakarta with me and got Woman of the Year award presented to her, but she didn't. I went back to Boissevain and gave it to her there and got the little local paper to photograph and write a story about that. She might be open to it. She's reticent, but she'll probably do it if she thinks it's going to help people.
And just moving away from all of this slightly, is there another project that's completely disassociated with this that you're thinking about doing? And if there is, can you talk about it?
Well, I think probably I would be interested in telling more stories of people that have a similar line to this one. The other things that people think are incurable, as a good story. I don't want to just put information out because there's lots of people who have all the information background. I do want to write a book that will parallel a little bit the film journey and the healing journey with Heather, this story. And to sort of go inside and explain from a different point of view than a medical point of view, and interactive.
Perhaps you should do a horror or a rom-com.
I could do a film about Steve.
It lasts about 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Listen, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Wonderful, and thank you very much.
In the fall of 1991, Heather Garden, an athletic 27-year-old, experienced a strange sensation in her leg. 3 months later, she was debilitated by an attack of a mysterious disease.
She really hardly had to use her hands. She could hardly spoon feed herself with soup there when she had some of her attacks.
There was periods of times when I couldn't physically move myself. I had to have Terry move me, carry me.
Heather was diagnosed with secondary progressive multiple sclerosis. The medical system doesn't know the cause and has no cure.
It was living this life of acceptance and resign yourself to the fact that, you know, you have this disease and it's going to get worse.
Society says, you go here and they get you better. If they say you're going to die, you are going to die.
Heather believes she was able to do something the medical system couldn't. Cure herself.